The nebulae wept across the void, a bruised amethyst sky scattered with the shattered remnants of dying stars. Jack's calloused hands gripping the worn helm of the Wanderer felt the shuddering tremor of the ship resonate through him, a tremor that mirrored the unease gnawing at his gut. The Xylo's rift, a graveyard of forgotten ships and shattered hopes, stretched before him, a swirling vortex of cosmic dust and whispers of things unseen. 2347, time itself seemed to warp within the fractured gravity wells, each anomaly a potential tomb. The Wanderer, a battered but loyal freighter, was his sanctuary, his office, his mobile fortress. The flickering holographic projections, displaying navigational charts overlaid with fragmented distress signals, danced like phantoms in the gloom. Tonight, however, the phantoms were more urgent, more persistent. A signal, encrypted and riddled with interference, had snagged onto his scanner. Not the usual space pirates or territorial squabbles that plagued the fringes of interstellar commerce, this was different. It spoke of vulnerability. The signal, almost a whisper carried on the hiss of static, described Xylo's ethel, bioluminescent, gelatinous creatures resembling sentient jellyfish. They were being hunted. Hunted. The thought chilled him to the bone. The Xylo Syndicate, a shadowy collective of interstellar pirates notorious for their ruthlessness and insatiable greed, were the predators. Jax knew their reputation. They weren't interested in fair play, they valued only resources, and their methods were as brutal as the environment that cradled them. Jax, a man carved from the harsh crucible of the Kepler 186F frontier, knew the risks. The rift was a place of merciless indifference, a place where the faintest tremors of the cosmos could crush a starship. A place where the line between survival and annihilation was razor-thin, often blurred by the inky blackness. He'd seen enough deaths in his life to fill 1,000 nebulae, but this was different. This wasn't about the next trade route or a quick buck. But a flicker of something else ignited in his hardened heart, a flicker of responsibility. He knew these signals, each one screamed for aid, for rescue. And beneath the layers of cynicism, beneath the calluses of countless battles and harrowing encounters, there lay something akin to a duty, an urge to intervene. The ethel, these fragile, shimmering beings, were far from the battlefield where he'd gained his reputation, and yet, there was a faint echo in their cries, an echo that resonated with a past he'd tried desperately to bury. The Wanderer shuddered again. The navigation console blinked, a new signal appeared, overlaid on the charts. A cryptic message from a hidden network, a hidden trade route, a whisper in the dark. Jack swore under his breath, a gruff sound against the vacuum of space. This wasn't going to be easy. This wasn't just a rescue mission. This was something far, far darker, something tied to a past he'd tried so hard to forget. And the Xylo's rift, with its enigmatic silence and vibrant terrors, held the answer. The answer, and the risk, to a question he hadn't even known he was asking. The Wanderer sliced through the swirling maelstrom of the Xylo's rift, the ship's hull groaning under the relentless pressure of unseen gravitational tides. Each shuddering lurch echoed the growing unease within Jax. He'd followed the faint, flickering signals, the ghostly cries of the Xylo's ethel, deeper into the heart of the rift, deeper into a darkness that felt almost sentient. The fragmented data from Zara, a veteran of the Kepler 186F frontier, painted a picture of escalating danger, one that went far beyond the immediate threat posed by the Xylo Syndicate. He'd met Zara at a makeshift trading post, a rust-colored, battered husk of a station clinging precariously to the side of a massive, jagged asteroid. Her face, etched with the realities of a life lived on the fringes of civilization, held a quiet wisdom that transcended the crowded galactic ports where Jax usually navigated. She knew the Syndicate's networks, their blind spots. She spoke in hushed tones, her voice a low rumble against the background hum of the ship's systems, revealing the true nature of the game the Syndicate was playing. They're not just after the ethel, Zara had rasped, her eyes, like shards of obsidian, fixated on Jax. They're after something far more valuable. Something hidden, something ancient. Her words echoed in his mind. Something more valuable. The echoes reverberated with a memory, a forgotten detail from a long-buried smuggling deal. A cryptic piece of information that had haunted his dreams for years, a whisper of an ancient technology lurking in the very heart of the Xylo's rift. A technology capable of unparalleled power, but equally capable of untold devastation. Could the Ethel, in their vulnerability, hold the key to this forgotten power, or were they merely collateral damage in a conflict far grander than he could fathom? The closer the Wanderer drew to the Syndicate's territory, the heavier the air grew. The faint luminescence of the Ethel's distress calls, once vibrant, now faded and erratic, like dying embers. It was as if the Ethel were being systematically depleted, swallowed by the black heart of the rift. The whispers of the Syndicate grew louder, more menacing, woven into the very fabric of the space around them. Their presence wasn't just felt, it was tasted, a toxic residue that clung to the ship, seeping into the ship's systems. As Jax navigated a treacherous asteroid field, the Wanderer nearly lost its grip on reality. The gravitational anomalies spun the ship in dizzying circles, twisting the view screen, obscuring his view of the Ethel's dwindling signals. The cryptic messages from the hidden network Zara had described emerged, cryptic instructions, a virtual labyrinth of coded threats, guiding him towards a secret rendezvous, a hidden cave on a forgotten asteroid, a dangerous meeting with other outsiders with similar goals. The closer Jax got, the more he realized he wasn't alone. Others were also hunting the Syndicate's prize, others were after the same prize. A growing sense of dread, a palpable fear, settled in Jax's stomach. This wasn't just a rescue mission, it was a descent into a nightmare, one where the stakes were no longer measured in lives, but in the fate of an entire sector, perhaps even the galaxy. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a palpable energy that vibrated through the Wanderer. Jax stared at the flickering holographic projections, the swirling nebula backdrop to the desperate signals emanating from the Ethel. Their cries, once vibrant, were now fading, swallowed by the inky blackness, like dying embers in a cold wind. He knew they were close to the Syndicate's territory, the space pulsating with their oppressive presence. He pushed the ship through the asteroid field, the ship trembling, each passing tremor echoing the growing dread within him. The cryptic message from Zara's network, a virtual labyrinth of coded instructions, had led him to a hidden cave system on a forgotten asteroid. It was a perilous gamble, a desperate measure. The cave, barely visible through the swirling debris of space, was a jagged maw in the asteroid, choked with a silent, menacing beauty. Inside, the air hung thick with the scent of ozone and something else, something ancient and alien, a forgotten technology. As Jax navigated the twisting tunnels, illuminated by the flickering light of his ship's emergency lamps, he felt the weight of his mission settle on his shoulders. He wasn't alone anymore, a spectral figure had emerged from the shadows, a mysterious warrior with a scarred face and eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 stars. This stranger, known only as Sentinel, had arrived by some unknown means. Jax sensed an uneasy connection with the other warrior, a shared purpose in this perilous endeavor. Sentinel, his voice a low rumble in the oppressive silence, explained that they weren't alone. Other factions were also after the Xylo Syndicate's prize. A shadowy network of interstellar scavengers, mercenaries, and rogue factions, all drawn by the lure of the ancient technology. A technology that held the potential to reshape the balance of power within the galaxy, yet the Syndicate, in their ruthless hunger, risked unleashing something far more dangerous. He had the feeling that this was not just a struggle against a Syndicate, but against a much larger, shadowy organization that controlled it. The Syndicate is merely a puppet, Sentinel's voice echoed, his eyes deep pools of shadowed moonlight, penetrating Jax's very core. A front. The true prize is far greater than you imagine. Jax's breath hitched. A true prize? A greater threat? His mind raced, piecing together the fragmented clues, the cryptic messages, the whispered secrets. The Ethel were not just victims, they were perhaps, unknowingly, the key to unraveling this far larger scheme, to preventing a catastrophic event. The Syndicate was a tool, a pawn. As he stepped deeper into the cave, the air thickened, the walls seemed to press in, and the whispers of the forgotten technology grew louder, almost palpable. He was now more than just a space trader, he was a pawn in a game far larger than himself, caught between the shadowy forces that manipulated the stars. The fate of countless worlds hung precariously in the balance. And Jax, the man who sought only to survive in the unforgiving reaches of the galaxy, was thrust into a conflict of unimaginable proportions. He knew one thing for certain: this mission, this confrontation, was not one he could afford to fail.